Alright, how's everybody doing today? This is Colby and this is my channel, and this is by amputees for amputees, and today I want to talk to y'all about something serious. Today we're going to talk about depression, and that is something that as an amputee you're going to have to overcome sooner or later. And I'm not giving you a choice about it. I ain't going to say that sooner or later you're going to have to overcome it or not. Now, sooner or later, you're going to have to overcome it. And depression is tough, but today I want to explain the difference to you in what I call justified depression versus unjustified depression. And a lot of people wonder what I mean by that. Well, what I mean is, let's just start off with justified depression. What I mean by justified depression is, let's say let's start off with unjustified depression. In my mind, what I call unjustified depression. All right, that is, let's say you've got a decent job, and let's say you've got a good, family support system, and you've got good friends, and you've got a healthy, intimate relationship with somebody, and you exercise in the day, and pretty much your life is going above average, and you still wake up in the mornings with no energy, and you still don't feel like doing anything, and you still feel depressed all day long. That's what I call justified depression. And for them type of people, then, hey, I say swing the bat and try an antidepressant. They might help, And the thing about it is, within 30 to 90 days after you start taking the antidepressants, you're going to know if they help, because either it's going to clean it up for you or not. But the whole point of that was to say that if there's nothing really that you can point in your life that's a problem, you don't got no big illnesses or nothing like that, and you got a good job, good family support system, all that, and you're still depressed, then hey, swing the bat at it, try an antidepressant, they might help. But then you've got the other kind of people that actually do have an extreme illness, or in a lot of our cases 2 or 3 illnesses, or you don't got a job, you don't got a good job or something like that to be proud of, and maybe your family support system's crap, maybe you don't got a relationship, or maybe even worse than that, you do got a relationship and it's extremely volatile, If you look at somebody's life like that and they tell you they're depressed, you're like, I know, I get it, I imagine. But don't let that feel like that's a bad thing, because that's actually a good thing, because the other group of people, they have nothing that they can work on. They have nothing that they can try to start doing to fix that, But people that fall into the second category, all them little things that you think are problems in your life really are things that you can potentially solve, So like if you don't got a good job, maybe you could start looking for a better one. Or let's say you're in a volatile relationship. Let's say you're in a bad relationship. All right, this is 0, right? And a bad relationship has got you going this way on the negative side of things, and obviously a good relationship will pull you over here to the positive. So if you're at 0 and you have a bad relationship, that's pulling you back here. So if you're back here and you have a bad relationship, then you can simply get out of that relationship and go to where a lot of people don't want to be, and that's not in a relationship. And that seems like a bad thing, but actually if you look at the schematics of it, you've moved forward. You went from a negative to 0. Now that you're at 0, you could start looking for a better relationship to maybe potentially push you forward, but that's not even necessary. Just getting out of that bad relationship pulled you from, say, -2, -3, -4 to 0. And 0 is not always a good thing, but when you were in the negative before, 0 is an improvement, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for small improvements in a bunch of areas in your life. Like say you're sleeping till 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock and you're waking up wondering why you're depressed. I mean, ain't it obvious? You're waking up at about the time that a lot of people are getting off work. A lot of people has put in a whole day's work, and you're just waking up wondering why you're depressed. So maybe tomorrow we can set the alarm for 8, 9, something like that, and we can get up and clean the house up a little bit. You know, if you look around your situation, which is your house, your living arrangement, whatever, you can start pointing out and picking things that are, just ask yourself, what I like to do is, do you know that voice in your head, like right now, if you closed your eyes and I'm talking to you and I ask you, what's 2 plus 2? And I told you to answer me, but don't answer out loud, but to answer. So how would you do that? All right, so when I ask you that question, you would use that little voice in your head to answer. So when I said what's 2 plus 2, you would say 4, but you wouldn't say it out loud. You would say it in your head with that little voice. That little voice is what you can use to negotiate with yourself. You know, so if you ask yourself right now, hey, Brad or Brenda or Tracy or whatever your name is, you could say, hey, what can we do tomorrow to make our life a little better? And that little voice might answer you. You might say, all right, I could wake up earlier and I could make my bed when I get up, and I could vacuum and I could clean the dishes, or maybe I could call my mom and speak to her and try to build that relationship. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do in your life to improve your situation if you have that option. But if you just assume there's nothing you can do, or if you just assume you have a terrible life, then you might, you know, but that's okay. But if the worse your life is, the more room for improvement you have. You know, like if you see, let's just say I don't even want to use Trump because everybody, but I'm just saying somebody rich or somebody that has everything, they can't look at their life and pick out a lot of things that they can work on because they got everything going for them. You know, they got everything. But when you look at your life and you don't have a lot of stuff going for you, then that leaves a lot of room for improvement. Now, I know there's some things that you ain't going to be able to improve on, like if you look at the illness question, you know, you're like, oh, what do I have that's wrong with me? And I've lost both my legs. That ain't something I'm ever going to be able to improve on, or is it? Maybe the fact that I have no legs and today I'm stuck in a wheelchair all day, maybe tomorrow I can get out of the wheelchair some, or maybe tomorrow I can help somebody else that's in a wheelchair, that's in my same situation, that's struggling with the same things I was struggling with. That's what I'm trying to do now. Excuse me. I wasted the first 5 years of my, let's call it amputee career, with pain pills, drugs, and stupid stuff, you know. So that's one of my big goals, is to try to let people not jump on that boat. You know, there's no need to start working backwards. The famous saying I love more than anything is, if you're in a hole, if you done dug yourself in a hole and you're trying to get out of it, a lot of people think the first thing they need to do is lean a ladder against the hole or something like that. No, first thing you got to do if you dug yourself in a hole is to stop digging. It's the first thing you got to do is stop digging, and that's what I want to talk to y'all about today, is stop digging yourself deeper. Start allowing yourself a way out, because there's a bunch. There's a ton of ways out. I don't care what life you got or how bad it is or anything. If you honestly use that little voice in your head, that little negotiator, and you negotiate with yourself fairly, just like, imagine you're talking to your mom, or imagine you're talking to your dad and they're working for you and you're negotiating with them. With that same mentality, you negotiate with yourself. You know, like tomorrow, what are we going to do? Okay, so tomorrow I want to improve my life some, but I know that if I put myself in a situation where I have to work all day tomorrow, then the day after tomorrow, I'm not going to negotiate with myself, because what does somebody who works like to do? Somebody who works likes to get paid. So maybe today I tell myself, all right, if you do this, this, and this, then I'm going to allow you to do this. Now, I don't know what you like to do is. You know, some people like to play PlayStation. Some people like to get on the computer. Some people like to do this, whatever. But it's a reward versus, you know, work thing. So if I do this amount of work, if I do this, then I'm going to allow myself to do this. That's how you have to negotiate with yourself. That's all it is to it. It's quite simple. don't allow yourself to think that just because I'm depressed, I gotta stay depressed, because that's not the case. You know, there's several options you can do to get yourself out of the situation you're in. And most of the time, if you're depressed, there's a reason you're depressed. There's about 10% of people that is